The future of Dragon Ball Super and what's holding it back. We actually have a behind the scenes interview here when it comes to Dragon Ball Super and how it's being handled overall with all the IPs. And I think this is an absolutely insane thing to actually have available to us, because now we actually know straight up how this is kind of all going down. Now we know recently people have been talking a lot about the IP handling of Dragon Ball Super, but it does all come back to this. So I'm going to talk about this real quick. Why hasn't Dragon Ball Super returned yet? Fans have been eagerly awaiting the return of DBS ever since the anime ended in 2018 with the conclusion of the Tournament of Power saga. While the Dragon Ball Super manga has continued under Toyotaro's guidance, the anime remains in limbo. Despite the franchise's undeniable success, a series of behind-the-scenes disputes have put the future of Dragon Ball Super on hold, raising questions about when or even if the anime will return. Again, I do want to remind you guys that the Dragon Ball IP has been stuck in a rights battle in general, but especially after Toriyama's passing. It's been at its absolute worst. This was even announced over a year ago at this point, but I just wanted to remind you guys that the IP for Dragon Ball Super is still in a top 10 worst positions it could be in right now. So just wanted to remind you of that. The power struggle behind Dragon Ball Super's delay. The key issue holding up the anime's return appears to be a rights dispute between Shueisha and Akio Iyuku. Now, one thing I do remember about Iyuku himself is that he actually wants rights to everything Dragon Ball except the manga. I don't know if he just hates the manga straight up, but he wants the rights of everything Dragon Ball except the manga. But yeah, Iyuku, a long-time Dragon Ball producer and former head of the franchise Dragon Ball Room. Iyuku, once one of Toriyama's closest collaborators, left Shueisha in 2023 to form Capsule Corporation Tokyo, a new company aimed at the managing of Dragon Ball's animation and gaming projects. However, Shueisha retained the rights of the Dragon Ball Super manga, creating a split between who controls the different aspects of the franchise. Yeah, as usual, you guys can see it's getting worse and worse as it goes on. This division of rights has led to a legal and production deadlock. Shueisha controls the manga, but Capsule Corporation Tokyo has the authority to produce new anime content. Without an agreement between both parties, adapting the manga's story arcs and the anime has been complicated, if not impossible. So again, I know a lot of people are saying, even when Daimo's airing, people are saying, oh, they're definitely going to tease the Moro arc after this, right? First of all, no. Why would they tease the Moro arc after Super Saiyan 4 Goku? That doesn't make any damn sense, right? That just don't make any kind of sense. Second of all, alright, even if they wanted to tease the Moro arc, they literally couldn't because of this was going on the whole time. So, Iyuku's exit and its impact. Iyuku was a major figure behind Dragon Ball's modern resurgence, overseeing projects such as Dragon Ball Super Broly and Superhero. Good lord, so this man is probably to thank for a lot of the DBS that people like. Again, I think when people say that they like Dragon Ball Super, they mean literally the last 10 episodes of the Tournament of Power, DBS Broly, and Dragon Ball Superhero, because those are everyone's favorite parts of Dragon Ball Super. His departure from Shueisha in 2023 came after reported tensions between him and the company executives who'd resigned him away from Dragon Ball. Feeling sidelined, Iyuku left Shueisha and established Capsule Corporation Tokyo, which now holds the rights to Dragon Ball's anime and video games productions. So Iyuku is the one we have to thank for anything that's going on in terms of the Dragon Ball gaming sphere. But that means he's also the one I should probably look towards when I'm thinking, hey, so what's with the content in Sparking Zero, huh? Kinda lacking. In actuality, with Sparking Zero, it's a bunch of other things. We can't really just blame it on one person, but yeah. However, because Shueisha retains the manga rights, a conflict has arisen. Capsule Corporation Tokyo cannot legally animate the Dragon Ball Super manga arcs without an agreement with Shueisha. This appears to be a major roadblock preventing an anime's return, as neither side has fully agreed on how to move forward. Sadly, I don't think this legal rights issue will ever get resolved to Dragon Ball unless if the company's in such a bad state that they need money ASAP and everyone stops fighting and just locks in and works together as a team. Obviously, it's just a battle between different super companies fighting each other. They all have infinite money already, but they want more. And again, it's a company, right? I'm not going to fault them for wanting more money. And again, the fans will wait patiently. They're Dragon Ball fans. They waited God knows how long between GT to Dragon Ball Super, and they were completely fine with that, and Dragon Ball was successful, so they'll wait even longer if the companies want them to. Very unfortunate, but this is just the way things are in the world. The legal limbo of who owns Dragon Ball. This internal struggle has been described as a custody battle, that's too accurate, over the Dragon Ball franchise. Shueisha has reportedly resisted giving Iyuku's company full control over the franchise's future, while Capsule Corporation Tokyo is pushing forward with its own vision of the new Dragon Ball projects. The result is a standoff between two major stakeholders, each with a significant claim to Dragon Ball's legacy, but able to fully proceed with new anime content without the other's cooperation. Complicating matters further is Toriyama's passing in March 2024, which left a void in creative leadership. Reports suggest that Toriyama is unhappy with Ryuku's removal from Shueisha, leading to speculation that he may have preferred Ryuku to take the lead on the franchise's future. However, Shueisha has made no public statements on this matter, and negotiations over Dragon Ball's rights are still ongoing. I mean, I don't blame Shueisha for not saying anything. The creator of Dragon Ball himself going, hey, these guys kind of, like this guy, he kind of had a good idea. That would be like a hard pill to swallow, you know? But at the same time, it's just the way the world works. Toriyama didn't really give Ryuku full control either. He probably just wanted people to stop fighting so they could just keep making the series that he loved working on and that many other fans loved, you know, being a part of. So that's unfortunate. Why other Dragon Ball projects are moving forward. I like how they showed an image of Super Saiyan 4 Daima here, and I'm just thinking about how Sparking Zero is moving forwards just at Continental Drift. While Dragon Ball Super's anime continuation remains on hold, other Dragon Ball projects have continued under Capsule Corp's management. The most notable example is Dragon Ball Daima, a separate original anime project that was produced independently of the Super manga storyline. Likewise, new video games like Sparking Zero have proceeded without issues as gaming rights fall under Capsule Corp Tokyo's domain. However, because Dragon Ball Daima and recent films are focused on original stories, they do not require adaptations of the Dragon Ball Super manga. The problem arises when trying to adapt the Moro, Granola, or newer manga arcs into the anime, since Capsule Corporation Tokyo would need permission from Shueisha to do so. What this means for Dragon Ball Super's future? Until a resolution is reached between Shueisha and Capsule Corporation Tokyo, the future of Dragon Ball Super's anime remains uncertain. Industry sources suggest that either 1. Shueisha and Capsule Corp reaching a licensing agreement allowed the Super manga arcs to be adapted into anime. 2. A new anime project is created that bypasses the Super manga entirely, focusing instead on original content that does not require Shueisha's approval. And 3. The franchise remains in a standstill, delaying Super's continuation indefinitely until the legal dispute is settled. I think 2 is the most likely. They still want to make more money, right? They'll just do 2, because here's the thing. Even if they lose money on like a Dragon Ball anime, let's say they make a Dragon Ball anime and people don't think it's that cool, they literally make all the money back from the sales in just Dokkan and Legends alone. And this is excluding how much they make on Sparking Zero or Xenoverse 2 like DLC sales as well, right? Dokkan and Legends alone, I think, would fix any issue or any financial issues that this would create. So long as there's a hype new transformation or something for a popular character, or if the villain is like really cool, then people will spend, right? Dokkan banners do well even when they're villains on. It's not just the Goku and Vegeta and Gohan game. Even like villains can sell crazy good if they're actually like done well, or if it's likable villains. So I think 2 is the most likely, because they can make all the money back with DLCs or merchandise. A good example is the SH figure arts for the Dragon Ball Daima characters. Yeah, they can make all the money back easily. When we get an official announcement, fans hoping for a Dragon Ball Super anime announcement may have to wait until a major industry event such as Jump Fest or another Toei animation panel. However, until the right situation is sorted out, Toei and other production partners may be reluctant to move forward with a new season, as they need a clear legal framework for using the Super manga's storylines. While Dragon Ball Super remains one of the most anticipated anime returns, business conflicts between the scenes have slowed its progress. For now, fans will have to remain patient as the negotiations continue. Final thoughts while we wait continues. At this point, it's clear that Dragon Ball Super's return isn't being delayed due to lack of interest or demand. It's caught in a web of corporate and legal complexities. Both Shueisha and Capsule Corporation Tokyo have their stakes in the franchise, and until a deal is made, the Super anime remains in limbo. However, one thing is certain: Dragon Ball is too big of a franchise to be left on the shelf for too long. Whether through a Super continuation or new anime projects or another major announcement, the future of Dragon Ball will be revealed in due time. For now, all we can do is wait and hope that the behind-the-scenes conflicts are resolved sooner rather than later. Dragon Ball fans have waited this long, what's a little longer? That's what I was saying earlier too. Dragon Ball fans waited so damn long for Dragon Ball Super that I genuinely think the companies know that they're in pretty good hands if they waste years or hell, decades fighting each other. Because Dragon Ball fans do actually... Ironic, Dragon Ball fans of all people have the patience to actually wait that damn long for an anime continuation. They don't just go, oh, it's been more than 3 years, we don't care. It's already lost relevance. They're like, nope, we are still invested. But yeah, either way, I think this is a good place to end the video. There's way more involving this Dragon Ball IP stuff, but I think I'll save that for another video. I would hate to drag this video out for too long, but that will be it. I do hope we can finally get some sort of conclusion to this Dragon Ball, legal dispute arc. Again, I don't really care for the Moro and Granola arc. If those don't get animated, I don't give a flying crap. But there's a lot of DBS manga fans who would like to see animated. In general, I would like to just see Dragon Ball do more of its world setting, stories, etc. So that's pretty much my thoughts. Dragon Ball continuing is good for me because I would just like to see Dragon Ball do more interesting stuff in general. Not just, big fights versus the new strongest guy in the universe or something. But yeah, that'll be it. I do think this is a good place to end the video. If you guys enjoyed them, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel. And leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. I do love you all. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Take care and peace.